Welcome to TriloTalk. This is a podcast dedicated to topics that we think are important to the profession of medical writing. And our goal is to bring these topical issues and ideas to the forefront and spark conversations in the medical writing community. Hi, everyone. I'm Julia Forjanic Klapproth, Senior Partner at Trilogy Writing and Consulting. My idea for today's podcast is to talk about something that's blowing my mind right now, and that is the world of AI agents. The first time I heard about AI agents, which, to be honest, was not too long ago, I had no idea what they were. But in a very short space of time, I realized that more and more people are starting to talk about them. The words are popping up in conferences. And I thought, I need to find out more about this. And as I did, I began to understand that we're on the verge of a very real paradigm shift with regards to what AI will do for us in the very near future. And I realized that anyone who has anything to do with medical writing really needs to know what AI agents are and what they can do, because they're going to change our lives quite dramatically. So, just to step back for a moment, it was only just a year ago that ChatGPT really exploded onto the world stage, right? And I think most people are only just getting used to the idea of how to utilize generative AI more readily. But in my experience, very few people have integrated it into their day-to-day routines. So here we are, a year later, all just getting used to the idea of ChatGPT and generative AI, when along comes these new things, AI agents. And many people may not know yet what AI agents are. But what I know is that the future is going to use agentic AI heavily. So this episode of TriloTalks is dedicated to informing you about AI agents. And here's what you need to know. First, there was generative AI. Now, generative AI is all about creation. It was designed to produce content, text, images, code, music, even videos. At its core, generative AI learns from existing data and uses that knowledge to generate new original outputs that mimic human creativity. However, generative AI doesn't truly understand the content it creates. It simply predicts what might come next based on patterns it's seen before. And it's creating something based on prompts that it receives. Okay? Now, on the other hand, AI agents are designed to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. So what sets AI agents apart is their ability to act with purpose, considering objectives, and then independently making choices to achieve them. So while generative AI is largely static, producing outputs based on learned patterns, AI agents are dynamic, capable of making decisions and adapting to their environment. In other words, while generative AI focuses on creating new content, AI agents are designed to think, plan, and act independently to achieve specific goals that we define for them. They actually take over some types of routine activities for us, not just when we prompt them to do it, but as a standing function. So, what does this really mean? Let's just take emails as an example. I stopped long ago trying to stay on top of all the emails that I receive in a day. I mean, I literally receive hundreds of emails every day, and it's physically impossible for me to process them all. But with an AI agent, I can have a resource that independently monitors my emails for me. It can flag emails that contain urgent requests or important updates. It can track requests made in my emails and then remind me if I haven't responded, ensuring I don't miss important follow-ups or deadlines. It can even suggest suitable times and dates for meetings based on my availability and preferences that I have. Just imagine how much time this is going to free up for me to focus on other things. And that's why these AI agents blow my mind. And that's why they're going to rapidly start being applied in so many areas. So, by design, what this means is that agents are going to replace some human roles and even be part of our workforce. We're going to have AI agents on our organigrams. And that sounds really scary at first glance, right? Because the fear everybody has is, well, oh my gosh, the robots are taking over. But as I started to understand them better, I spent a bit of time looking into them, seeing what they can do. I think it might not be as scary as it sounds. And I think it's really important that we take the time to understand these so that we really appreciate what the value, what the limitations are. Most people are completely overwhelmed by their workloads, right? I mean, who goes home in the evening knowing they finished everything they had to do that day? I certainly don't. Having these agents to take away some of the more routine tasks like staying on top of our inboxes should finally give us the relief that technology has promised to bring us for decades. Now, in the context of medical writing activities, AI agents will enhance the capabilities of medical writers by automating routine tasks. This is already what generative AI promised to do. But AI agents are going to take it a step further because they can do these functions independently. They can be used to facilitate collaboration, for example. So just imagine having an AI agent that can assist a lead writer in project management activities, such as monitoring the timelines and sending reminders to team members who haven't sent in source files that are needed or who haven't completed their reviews. An AI agent can also provide real-time updates on the project's progress to the team members or clients. They can help identify potential bottlenecks and ensure that the project stays on schedule by flagging these things and communicating to different people, the right people on the team who need to be aware of things. The agent could even be used to screen for relevant articles on a particular topic, and then write an initial draft that would summarize, say, the epidemiology of a given disease area. Our time would then be spent reviewing that text to make sure it hits all the points we feel are relevant. And this is an important piece to understand. While these agents can pull things together quickly, they are not creative, which is where our input is truly needed. So, as exciting as these agents sound, it's important to understand their limitations and to really appreciate them. They are still relatively restricted in what we can expect them to do. For example, AI agents do not possess common sense or an understanding of the world in the way that humans do. Yes, they can process and analyze data, but they might struggle with tasks that require an intuitive understanding or contextual knowledge. They also have limited creativity. While they can perform tasks based on predefined rules and algorithms, they're really not inherently creative. So they're going to struggle with tasks that require innovative thinking or out-of-the-box solutions. Here's another example of what I mean by that. I've been using Copilot for the last few months, and it has the ability to go in and create minutes of my meetings. And in the beginning, after my meetings, it would spit out this beautiful looking set of notes. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's saving me so much time. And then after about the third or fourth time in one particular meeting, I was there was a particular point that I wanted to make sure was in the minutes because it was really relevant. So I went into the notes that it had prepared, looking for that point so that I could, make sure it was stated the way I wanted it to be with the right nuances. And that point wasn't in there at all. And that was when I began to look really closely, and I realized that, okay, the notes that the system had captured high level ideas, but first of all, it was highly redundant. It would frequently say the same thing 2 or 3 times in a row, just repeating itself. And it often didn't have all of the key points that needed to be included to really reflect all of the take-home messages. So I think that's really important because that's exactly why it's important that the human remains in the loop, right? These agents are going to be able to make decisions and pull information together for us, but we need to go in and make sure that the content is what it needs to be. So while AI agents will become part of our workforce, they are not going to replace human medical writers. Instead, they're going to serve as valuable tools that augment our capabilities, allowing us to focus on more complex and creative aspects of the writing. By automating these routine tasks, I think the AI agents are really going to free up time for medical writers to engage in the critical thinking, the interpretation of the data, and crafting compelling narratives, which is going to make those documents better. So now that I have a better understanding of what these agents can do, I'm excited about them. AI agents are set to transform medical writing, for sure. But I think how they're going to transform it is by improving our efficiency. Our focus is going to shift to the downstream activities of writing. So instead of being involved in pulling the information together, our role is going to be to examine those outputs carefully, make sure they're truly capturing the relevant information that needs to be discussed, and working with the teams. So in a nutshell, I think this seems like a true breakthrough that is going to finally bring a reduction in work. And it'll allow us to focus on the bigger ticket aspects of our job, right? Being strategic crafters of the text and the cat herders of our teams as they wrangle with the big picture narrative behind the data that we're communicating about. Okay, so I hope this gave you a better understanding of what these AI agents are. How they're going to help remains to be seen, but I know that they're going to make a big difference in what we're doing. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for listening to TriloTalk today. If you have feedback you'd like to share, or if you have any ideas for future topics you'd like us to cover, particularly something you think the community should be talking about, we would love to hear it. We would like this to be an ongoing conversation with medical writers at large, and you can send us your comments on our Twitter feed or our LinkedIn page. Just a reminder, you can find all our episodes of TriloTalk podcast on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, Spotify, and trilogywriting.com/TriloTalk. Have a great rest of your day.